What does it mean to be a Parsi? To me, I think it is God's gift to me that He has made me a Parsi.
This community in India still stands for qualities that are good, that are honorable, that are decent, and I'm proud to be one of those.
What I love most about the community is our sense of humor. And I feel if we lose that, then we lose everything.
I love being a Parsi. I love the idea that I enjoy all kinds of foods. I love the idea that the community is seen as a slightly eccentric, slightly weird, slightly strange community, but very loved.
For me, being a Parsi is really about a certain morality, about growing up with good words, good thoughts, good deeds, motto. I think somewhere it seeps down in you.
In Zoroastrianism, the religion is very optimistic. We believe that every moment things are improving, and our belief is that we have to generate good thoughts, words and deeds, but importantly words and deeds, to bring about an ethical awareness into the world. And in doing so, being happy within and promoting harmony in the environment. That, I would say to you, is the Zoroastrian message. The Qowasji is, in my view, seen as the essence of God in man. The wings of the Qowasji represent the spiritual world, the body of the Qowasji represents the physical world, and the head of the Qowasji represents consciousness. It's now seen as a Zoroastrian icon of identity. The first important ritual that a Zoroastrian undergoes is the initiation ceremony known as the Navjot. An undervest known as the Sudre is given to the child, and a cord made of lamb's wool. It's obviously tied 3 times round the waist, and this Navjot ceremony is done by an ordained priest. In Zoroastrianism, we have this one life to live. This life has to be lived in the most comfortable possible way. There is no concept of fasting, celibacy, flagellation of the body. In other words, generate wealth. It's a religion which in fact encourages capitalism, but capitalism with a very important social responsibility, that if you've made a lot of money, you must learn to share it.
Remember that for any colonizing power, a agent group of community or a group of community who acted as commission agents were very important if trade had to thrive. The Parsis knew how to source or where to source goods, and they were able to deliver to the British what they wanted. There was also the ability of the Parsis, who by then had learnt English, so it was easy for them to deal with, whereas other communities in India were still maybe a step below the Parsis, simply because in terms of communication, in terms of creating a rapport, the Parsis were way ahead. Every kind of service was given to the British. So if they wanted sail makers or if they wanted rope makers, even if they were not present in Bombay, they were sourced from the many villages of Gujarat. And therefore you see migrations and waves of Parsis coming into Bombay between 1680 and 1780. Over a period of 100 years, more and more Parsis came in.
For most Parsis, Bombay is the only home we have. A lot of us don't have an ancestral village to go back to, so Bombay is all we know. We've been here so long, we've been here practically since the beginnings of the city. We've helped to build it. We have such strong associations with it. We have such strong nostalgia about it. You know, we are really a very, very integral part of the city, and the city is a very integral part of us.
I don't think we had an identity crisis where we suddenly said, oh God, who am I? Where do I come from? It only happens when people ask us questions. And if you ask your father, where do you come from? He says, from Breeze Candy, which is the hospital. Room 501, apparently. But don't have a memory. I was inside the womb, the female, and they knew. But that's for all, not just Parsis. You come out from the same place.
The Parsis were certainly very closely aligned with the British, almost twins in partnership. And when independence happened, the Parsis, at least the top Parsi industrialists, had to make a huge leap. Perhaps the Parsis did it most successfully were those like the Tatars, who moved into industrialization of India. So if you are participating in the development and industrialization of a new country, you become part of that elite group. They must have felt orphaned, in my opinion, with the British moving away. And they had to sort of renegotiate their position in modern India.
Now, last year was the Diamond Jubilee celebration of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth. They were all celebrated in England, and she was so good and so sweet to remember me. So the Queen sent me her full-size picture from London, and I have got it framed. You like to see?
Yes.
There she is next to the clock, Her Majesty.
really enjoys the food at the table, really. But they want good food. I like food to be like nice and tikha. Of course, dal saag is my favorite. Then masoor is my favorite. Fish is my favorite. And the vegetables for a Parsi is very difficult. Some Parsis say, auntie, vegetables bana do. So I make it for them. But to give them a meal with a vegetable dish and not, even if you put meat in the vegetable, like we have bida gosh, French beans gosh, but no, they want botas and no vegetables.
First there is the aroma which comes to you. Taram pam 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 pam. It goes to your nose. Then it goes to your head. And then it goes to your stomach. And your stomach expands. Zupu, zupu, zupu. Your tongue comes out. Poo, 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 poo. And then you start eating. But mutton, hot favorite. Mutton is the hot favorite of Derby winner. Parsi food, Derby winner to Bejat. Mutton, mutton and mutton.
You can eat whatever you want. There's no beef, no pork, which is a good thing because I like my food. And you know, Parsi food is the best, like according to me. Like dhansak and all, nothing beats that.
Always cracking jokes, making fun, and they are very jovial. But they are also very particular. Let me tell you one thing. If a Parsi comes on the cash counter, he wants a fresh note. You can't possibly give him a torn note or a soiled note. Mane kadak note jo. That is the characteristic of a Parsi.
The Parsi is very honest. They are very loyal. Then they are also very disciplined people. Like you won't find Parsi person will spit on the road.
I love that we are argumentative. I love that we have no central figure who's like a pope. I love that it's so anarchic most of the time. Of course, it's not good for the community to be like that, but it's better than having a strong kind of dictator at the head of a community. And I love that we are a bit eccentric a lot of the time.
Sometimes inadvertently, if I cross a red light and the policeman comes up to me, I said, ha, mistake hua, sorry, hum fine dega. So he says, tum Parsi hai na? I said, yeah. He says, jao. I said, kyun? Humko kyun jaane deta hai? He said to me in Hindi, which is very bad where I speak, he said, you Parsis are the only one who will not only admit to what you've done wrong, but will insist on paying a fine.
Because there's very few of us, so I'm like a rare thing, you know. I'm exotic in my school.
No, I didn't know growing up that it was so small, the community, in the sense that Mumbai is everything. Then it was Bombay. So that's a bit strange, actually. Suddenly, in the last 10 years, people have woken up that along with the Great Indian Bustard and the tiger, the one-horned rhino, three of my favorite friends, the Parsi is also, you know, dwindling.
We find funny ways to express everything, including something like death. You know, I mean, there are like 4 or 5 really fun ways to go about it. One is even to Kolmi thai gaya, one is Wicket Pari gaye, another is, which is one of my favorites, even to photo frame ma chali gaya. You know, I mean, imagine being quirky about the most solemn things. That's a lovely trait.
Ediani jhai khabar jebu monu. It means a face like an advertisement for castor oil. When someone is very morose looking.
Mutton shop. There were all brains displayed. One asked, how much is that? They say, 50 rupees. Why? Because this belongs to this one, this community. This belongs to this community. And in the end, when it goes to the 5,000 rupees, they say, why so much? They say, this belongs to a Parsi. They go, why so expensive? They go, if you break 500 skulls, you will get one brain. So that is how we take care.
That is ridiculing, but still people enjoy it. So we say
no
it.
brains.
What happens to a Parsi man with a hard-on when he walks into a wall? He breaks his nose.
એને શીખવેલું હતું બે દોરી બાંધેલી પર એક દોરી ખેંચે તો he will pray અઠાવી if he pulls another the string તો he will pray assemble તો એક મારો ફ્રેન્ડ જેવો ત્યાં ગયેલો તેને લઈને કહું કે બે દોરી ખેંચો તો શું થાય તો પોપટે કહ્યું ગેલચોડિયા
Daddy was very sweet. He used to take us to Hanging Gardens, which is nearby. And he said, Johnny, I'll teach him how to fetch the ball. Now you follow me. And my dad would bend like that and throw a tennis ball. And Figaro would not even look at it. So every day he would go, we would do this. And then, people would come to watch this old middle-aged Parsi man go and pick up a ball in his mouth to show the dog and bring it back. But he never learned how to fetch the ball. I mean, my dad did, but the dog didn't.
If there's a little thing happening, because it is a Baba involved, they take the total liberty to accentuate the whole thing. Like, if I were to tell you, you are very beautiful. So, and somebody heard this. Do you know what Sam told that girl? Can you imagine? Any umar hai, when he is supposed to go up God knows where, he is telling this girl, that tu ghani beautiful છે તે બી એટલું જ નહીં કે તારા ગાલ ઘણા લાલ લાલ છે તારા દાંત કેટલા મજાના છે and you are so tall and you are so gracious. So that fellow goes and tells another man કે પેલો જે idiot છે ને crack Parsi તે ના 6 બટન ખુલ્લા ઉઠા ને એ સેક્સીલી કહે કે પેલી એક છોકરીને કહે કે ડાર્લિંગ તું કેટલી બ્યુટીફુલ છે અને પછી ઉપરથી પછી કહે કે તું મારી સાથે વાઇન પીવા આવશે કે અને મારી સાથે ડાન્સ કરવા આવશે અરે એ તો લાકડી લઈને ચાલે છે કેમ ડાન્સ કરવાનો છે So everyone goes on adding and adding and adding and adding, and that is how something grows.
We do not realize, being so small in numbers, that we have a responsibility to a community which has given us so much, to a nation which has given us so much. Here the nation is telling us, produce kids. We're giving you money to produce kids. And we then still say, no, we want to marry out. Doesn't make sense to me.
But I think that children whose mothers are Parsi and whose fathers are not, it's absurd. It's absurd to keep them out. In light of morality, in light of gender equality, everything, it's crazy that we go to such lengths to keep them out. That's my feeling.
What you're asking is a very simplistic rationale that people come up with. Open our doors and those kids are going to become marvelous Zoroastrians. What are we interested in? Increasing Zoroastrians or increasing the number of Parsis? Which means to increase our ethnic stock. How can ethnic stock increase if one marries out? Can Zoroastrianism accept it from a religious point of view? The answer is capital no. And as far as we are concerned, custom and tradition, which always has to take precedence, the custom and tradition is that a girl marrying out ceases to be a Zoroastrian. It's not something new. It's been said by our learned priests for the last 100 years or so.
If a girl is marrying to a non-Parsi according to the Special Marriage Act of 1954 and she's following her own religion, I don't understand why we can stop her from practicing the Zoroastrian religion. So this little bit of change will bring peace in the community, and it will, I'm not encouraging the interfaith marriage by saying all these things, but these are the problems where the youth are getting disintegrated from the community. We are trying to, instead of make a fabric, we are trying to break the fabric of the community.
Historically, Iranian society has been agnetic. This is not something you and I can change. This is a legacy of history. But should we change to something even worse by opening the doors for our girls so that there's a greater chance of more and more people marrying out, as a result of which our ethnicity is weakened generation after generation? That is the issue we have to think of.
We don't try to understand each other. We just want to put our thoughts like, these are my thoughts, that's it, it has to be like this. Because we have not done this in so many years, we should not do it again. But then there are so many things which we are not doing since we came from Iran. And we have changed. And the change is the most important thing, and if we don't change, we are not going to survive.
Parsi जरथोस्ती हमें एक मेकने डैज घर धन सक्ने अचार गमेज क्रिकेटमा खाइएच मार नाटक सिनेमा रेसमा नाथी हमें पछार लगन नौजोटनी शेषमा सेरगेज रुपियाँ सा now.